Hey there everybody, welcome to another episode of Stand Your Ground Studio. This is Scott. Tonight I want to point out two stories not being talked about by any channel that I'm subscribed to. One of which is that thousands of Muslims have attended Catholic Mass all over France and Italy, and that's in response to a priest or father being slain by some Islamic militants. And that seems to tie in with another story, which is that Trump made a bunch of remarks about the parents of a fallen Gold Star soldier who happens to be Muslim. And the overriding theme, of course, is that of unity and showing disgust for any type of intolerance, so that theme is taking a giant step forward, or is about to. And I'm going to go ahead and let a bunch of videos do most of the talking, so let's just dive right in. If you look up, all the articles basically say the same thing, they're repeating each other. It's a lot of copy and paste, and it's all about how great this decision is for Muslims to be attending this Catholic Mass and have an interfaith Mass and show a sign of unity. So again, Father Jacques Hamel was killed in his church not too long ago by two young men who pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group. France's Muslim Council, the CFCM, urged Muslims to show solidarity and compassion over the murder, which I do not argue with, but it's how they do it that catches your attention, which is that they need to go to a Catholic Mass in full garb, and we have to have an interfaith Mass. So of course you're going to see a lot of pictures like this, a lot of videos like this, and it's all about a merging of faith. And in a world that is basically spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind, they're going to see this as a good thing and not see the deception that's playing out right in front of them. And I'll just scroll right ahead. That they had to show up in full garb, and we all had to show how much we're all brothers, and it's all really one and the same faith. So I'm going to jump right over here and let the news do the talking.
While the exchanges between Donald Trump and the parents of that fallen Muslim American soldier have become a campaign flashpoint here in the U.S., in France today, a different tone. Lucy Kafanov reports on a remarkable display of unity between Muslims and Christians.
Church bells tolling across France today, carrying a powerful message, calling together the faithful, Muslims and Christians alike, to show unity, solidarity in the face of unspeakable terror. Muslim worshippers welcomed at Mass today, young and old, in habits and hijabs. They sang, prayed, and remembered.
We are first of all brothers before being enemies.
This shell-shocked country has been reeling from bloodshed on its shores. In the past year alone, brutality at the Bataclan, a nightmare in Nice. But Tuesday's murder of an 85-year-old Catholic priest by two ISIS-inspired teens was aimed at the most sacred and vulnerable of targets. ISIS wants a war of religions, listing churches as targets in its propaganda magazine. The brutality of the two attackers, shot dead by French police, condemned by the Muslim community. They take our religion and do horrific things, this woman says. We are against these barbaric acts made in our name. Today, that message rang clear. France determined to hold on to its values, liberty, freedom, and brotherhood. Lucy Kafanov, NBC News.
Okay, so if you scroll through that, this article, you see much of the same thing. Here on The Blaze, same thing, they're all applauding it. And they borrowed a video from Reuters, and I'll just play a little bit more of that.
The killing shocked the country, and now the government is on the offensive, pushing for interfaith unity. One Muslim woman named Hayat says everyone needs to come together.
So this was basically a message of unity. Aside from peace, it was really about unity. All those that are here live in peace every day. They live in it and pass it on in the city, in France, and elsewhere too.
A message of peace in France's time of need.
Okay, so that speaks for itself as well. You can read through this article if you want. And I was just going to make a quick video on this and say at the end, be on the lookout for someone like Trump to falsely speak out against this, as if he's saying he's going to speak out against something like this and make it sound as hateful as possible, or someone else like him, because the controversy needs to be picked up. And just like you heard in the first video, that's actually kind of already happened. It's just an overlapping story. And that's with this, the parents of this fallen soldier, and Trump made some ugly remarks about them, and he's hiding, he's digging in, and he's firing back, and he's making himself sound worse. And now this guy is out here, and he's making very long statements, and it's a very big, they're calling it a flashpoint, and there's a lot built into it, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. but they're clearly setting this up to be a bigger issue. So in the midst of this 5.5-minute video here, he's even saying if this doesn't get repudiated, he's going to be out there and he's going to make more noise and more noise about it. I think he says it here.
Speaker's moral, ethical obligation to not worry about the votes, but repudiate him, withdraw the support. If they do not, I will continue to speak, and I am speaking. I have received tremendous support from Republicans saying to me that they have never voted for Democrats. This year, they are not going to vote Republican for the office of president because of this candidate.
And it's leading into other issues. We've heard about Trump and the GOP all the way up until now. And throughout all these articles, of course, they're mentioning how not all Muslims are violent, which of course I agree with, but it's that same battle cry that's coming out. And he says it here. It's an overlap in the story.
We will continue to do our part to keep it safe and beautiful. What he cites in the name of Islam and all that is not Islam at all. I wish somebody would have put something in his head.
And you know where the story is going. I'll just keep scrolling down. We get to it's clearly a launch point or a flash point leading to far more. So again, we get to have moments like this.
And today, and look at the whole meeting.
I know Trump's
wait
a minute, Sajid. Let's hear
Trump's
Sajid.
are told to interrupt people because you don't like.
Okay, and it's just more arguing and more arguing. And just to make a quick point, because I only looked into this so much, what I'm saying is, again, it's a launch point and it's not happening by accident. So we get scripted moments like this too.
America has just finished listening to 2 weeks of convention speeches, 204 speeches. 71 of them at the Republican convention last week and 133 of them at the Democratic convention this week. One speech stands out among those 204 speeches like no other, and that is the speech we will focus on tonight.
And this is slanted completely to the left. It's all about the Democratic National Convention. And it really builds it into how it's in the fabric of this entire election, in the fabric of American culture and politics. And back here, they mentioned how politics has reached a brand new low because of Trump. So it's all tying in together like we always talk about here. And of course, because I keep bringing up this point, in more than one article and more than one video, they keep calling it a flashpoint. And that's in regards to what Trump said. So it's a flashpoint in American politics, which is a place, event, or time at which trouble, such as violence or anger, flares up. It's also a point at which, say, a fire goes from something that can be contained to something that really can't be contained. So they're really sending a message with this right here. And I'm going to end on a few notes of what I think it's all about, and then I'm going to sign off. So first, this is clearly the next step in pushing the world towards a one unified mind and a one spirituality that's going to eschew and hate any type of intolerance. Hate and controversy is going to be used to further demonize any form of intolerance. Obviously, not all Muslims, Catholics, or any other community is violent. I don't say that at all. But this is spiritual deception meant to blur the lines between all communities so that we all meld together in the long run and we adopt the wrong spirituality at the back end of it all. Thinking back to my video on Josh Feuerstein, or however you say his name, and he's one of those fire starters, I can see an episode where people, Christians included, react violently to this, what's going on, because they feel like they're being surrounded and they're going to be baited into a worldly response. As followers of Christ, it is not our job to get caught up fighting this physical world. It is our job to be witnesses to the glory of Jesus Christ and the Father. And scattered across this world in every community, there are a relative few people who will hear the voice of the Good Shepherd and respond to him. That is who we're striving to connect with. So, stay strong, stay faithful, spread the word, and let this perishing world do what it wants to do in the long run. Don't get baited into getting wrapped up into a worldly response. That's it for tonight. Do expect things to heat up in the coming months for sure. In the meanwhile, take care and God bless. Thank you.